I can see each event just as vividly as I can see the posters before me. I'm Donald Faulkner. I'm director of the New York State Writers Institute. And what I do, is kind of herd intellectual cats. We bring a lot of writers through to Albany to do readings. We also do a number of other types of programs, events, writing workshops and film series and programs with young writers and a summer institute that we run in Saratoga.
The life of the writer, my life in the last few years was I suppose you'd call it adventurous. But this thing ruined everything.
We go far and wide, find the best writers that we can and bring them to Albany. It's like bringing the world to a particular place. And I can't think of any other organization, even some of the better known ones in major cities, that have such a regular flow of creative talent coming through and at no cost to the public with our open door policy. So we bring the literary world to Albany. So all these people whose names, faces, and dates of events you see are people who have come from far and wide to read to the general public here. And we've had somewhere, my most recent count now has gotten us up to at least 10 or probably 11 Nobel laureates across the years, ranging from Toni Morrison, who actually used to teach at Albany, to most recently the South African writer J.M. Coetzee. And along the way, I don't know, people like the Nigerian writer Wole Soyinka, or the Caribbean writer Derek Walcott, or the Irish poet Seamus Heaney, or the names go on. But along the way, we archive all of by video and audio, all of the people who have come through. So we have left a footprint, they have left a footprint. And the Institute was founded in 1983, officially became the New York State Writers Institute in 1984. And over the years, we've had more than 1,000 writers through.
My sister was a rabid conservative who actually worked at W's first convention, and she couldn't get a room, so she ended up having to stay with me, and she brought a sign she was holding that said, W stands for women. And I said, you can stay, but the sign has to go.
As a result, we have a very extensive archive of those writers, their readings, interviews with them, and I guess we like to think of ourselves as perhaps becoming the C-SPAN of literature. I don't know, we'll see what happens with that, but we're about to roll out what is in essence a kind of virtual research library of all of these videos and audios that we've collected over the years. We're told by many people it's the most thoroughgoing archive of contemporary writing that they know of in America. One of the things that helps is to be writers ourselves and to know what makes a writer comfortable, to respect a writer who has come for a visit and not treat that writer like some sort of circus sideshow, and to engage that person in conversation. We often like to say, and joking among ourselves, that we invite writers to dinner and we just have these couple of public events on either side of the dinner, or some gathering after one of those public events. But what really happens is sitting down and having good conversation. It brings writers back. It's actually one of the things that people, I think, most appreciate about the Writers Institute. The writers will be respected as writers. I remember one writer saying, you know, you go to some literary readings and you think, gosh, I'm so glad I got through that. Let me, catch the next plane out. You go to the Writers Institute and you find yourself saying, wow, that was good. I hope they invite me back.
Mom and Dad were high school teachers, so we would take family vacations across the country. And instead of going to SeaWorld and Disneyland, we would visit historic sites. So by the time I turned 15, I had visited Jefferson's Monticello or Truman's Independence. Got to read The Grapes of Wrath and then visit Steinbeck's home in Salinas. Was able to go to read Willa Cather and go to Red Cloud, Nebraska. So I think living on the road for family vacations, 3 months in a trailer, got me very interested in American history.
With literature comes a very important thing, community. As one old friend used to say, a writer is someone who has readers. I always thought that was a good, simple line, a good, simple definition of what a writer is. But that effort of creating a community through an art form and enhancing that community, enhancing that general imagination, makes having a Writers' Institute not only a worthwhile thing, but I think a very important thing. And what we've done, I think, across the years is we've not only exposed people to excellent artwork and writing in particular, but we've educated people to become more discriminating, to become more effective judges of what makes something good. And people read, people buy books. This is a very book-loving community, and I think the Writers' Institute has done a lot to enhance that, even on some level create the environment in which people can explore literature especially. I think that there aren't enough programs like this around the country. I wish there were more. The literary community in Albany is quite rich, and we're in a kind of feedback loop with it. I don't think such an operation as the Writers' Institute could have been created in the first place without there being not only a strong group of writers, and you can find a sort of an arc from down toward Columbia County where a lot of New York City writers have weekend homes, all the way up to Saratoga and beyond. We have places like Yaddo, the writers' colony there, and writers' groups in Hudson, New York, east and west into western Massachusetts, and west to Syracuse. That's the audience sort of circumference that we work with. So when you go back and you find a general population quite proud of Albany's connections to Henry James and Herman Melville, or even Bret Harte, a story writer, or just a little bit further east over to wave to Emily Dickinson, or a little bit further south to say hi to our old friend Walt Whitman or Edith Wharton. When we have this sense of the cultural heritage, it helps to amplify writers' own senses of being part of a larger story, which I think is quite important for the whole sense of literary tradition. So there's this rich ground that's here already. And then the Writers' Institute comes in and becomes a beacon. It becomes a magnetic pole. It becomes a resource, if nothing else. I mean, it may make the rest of that sound too highfalutin. But it becomes something that feeds the whole system. It gives fuel to the fire of people's imaginations. And it's very rewarding to see that, to encounter that, to see people in our writing workshops really catch fire with their own creativity because they've been given stuff to work with. They've been challenged by excellence that they've been able to see themselves.